Today's show is all about clean. First up, Concours expert Patrick Jeffords shows us how to compete. Then Barry White and his crew at Street Rod Repair Company show us where to compete. They are debuting a beautiful car, the Concept 36, at the Grand National Roadster Show. Now let's visit a private classic car collection and meet the curator and museum manager, Patrick Jeffords. Mr. Jeffords is a gentleman who has competed in 88 Concours competitions and won 88 times. Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Jeffords.
Good afternoon. I'm Pat Jeffords. Welcome to the William Lyon Classic Car Collection. The folks at Rolling Art TV have asked me to come in and talk to you a little bit about what it takes to prepare a car for a Concours event. So what we're going to do today is we're going to start with this 1931 Chrysler Imperial. Very nicely restored car, very unique. It's a Legrand bodied Chrysler, which is really quite rare. And we're going to start with this car. We'll start on the bottom side and literally work our way through the car. As you can see, everything underneath the car is painted exactly like it is on the top side. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the painted parts underneath. Every single one will be compounded, polished, waxed, just like you would on the upper surface of the car. And as you can see, there's lots of nuts and bolts. We'll make sure those are all clean and shiny. Not overly done, but to the point where when you look under it, everything is pristinely clean. And we'll go through the entire engine compartment underneath, all the frame rails, literally every piece underneath the car. And that in itself will take probably, I would say, close to a month laying on a creeper with 2 fingers, rubbing and polishing and rubbing and polishing. Every inch inside the engine compartment, including the hood welting, the underside of the hood, all the nuts and bolts, every nook and cranny, hence the term that they've used for years and years and years, detailing. It's all about the details. This car actually gets out on the road and gets a little grimy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to get rid of all that. On the interior, we're going to start with the bottom side. We'll pull the carpet out and make it just a little bit easier and give us a little more access to a few parts of the car that aren't readily seen. These things are all extremely important. Just for example, underneath the dash. If there's a tie between 2 cars, what they'll do to break that tie is they'll start either with the wiring underneath the dash. Is it the right color? Is it the right type of wire? These are all things that are extremely important. The chrome on the top bows, the wood on the top bows, the canvas of the top, every inch has to be absolutely pristine. As you can see, we have the wheels and the tires off the car. Makes it a lot easier for access underneath. But that's what we're going to do next. We're going to hit the wheels and the tires. White walls are probably the most difficult part of doing some of the older classic cars. The white wall is actually attached to the black rubber of the tire. So a lot of times you'll have darkness coming from the bottom side of the white wall out and it turns them brown. We're going to take this white wall and we're going to make it absolutely perfectly bone white, pristine, ready for Sunday on the grass. Our next step, obviously, is going to be the paint. The paint is probably the most time-consuming part of the entire car. The process begins by figuring out, number one, how old is the paint? Is the paint from Germany? Is it Italian? Is it American? There are so many different variables involved with the paint. We have to get all that narrowed down first. Now this particular car, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a medium-duty compound. We're going to hand rub the entire car from one end to the other. We're going to come back with a lighter-duty compound. We're going to hand rub the entire car again. Then we're going to come through with a polish it and really give it that gloss, that wet look. It almost looks like a puddle that you could stick your hand right in. Then we're going to finish the car off with a really, really good 100% carnauba wax. Now one of the other things we're going to address here today is one of the wives' tales about wiping the paint. I brought 2 different towels to show you today. This is your basic white cotton towel. This is what they used to use many years ago, but I still on Sunday see people wiping their paint down with one of these towels. This is a regular cotton towel. It would be the same as using a piece of sandpaper to wipe your paint. Not a good thing. This is one of the newer things. This came out in probably the last 10 years or so. This is called a microfiber. And regardless of what you wipe with it, it will not scratch. Obviously, this is what we use on a lot of the Sunday show cars. What we're going to do now that we're finished with the paint, we're going to move on to the bright work. We're going to hit the bumpers. We're going to hit the lights, every nut, every bolt, every linkage. The grill is very, very difficult. You can see this is a braided, chrome-plated steel. Then we get to the back of the car, and of course we have a lot more bright work and a lot more paint. Then before we load it on the truck, we're going to go through it and wipe it down. I have a special showroom shine that's made by Adams Polishes. Sunday mornings in Pebble Beach is very cold and very damp, and a lot of times the paint will fog up from your wax. Adams Polishes will not let that fog reappear. Works really well and makes the car very shiny. So that's how we're going to finish up just before we put it on the grass. Well, one last thing before we go today. I'm trying to perpetuate the hobby. I've been doing this for 30 years now, and what I'd like to do today is try and get some of the younger people a little more involved, because when people like myself and General Line and many of the other people in the collector hobby are gone, who's going to be here to take care of these wonderful pieces of machinery? So the young people, come on out on Sunday, see what it's all about, and I'm sure you'll enjoy yourselves. Next time, I'm going to be giving you a tour of the William Lyon Classic Car Collection. Until then, we'll see you out on the grass on Sunday.